Welcome, everyone, to tonight's Building Depth Circles call. I'm Sarah Smith coming in from Liberty, Utah, and I am honored to be here tonight. This is one of my favorite calls. It's been going on for years. If you are brand new to this call, welcome. This is a way to stay plugged in between the live events. My husband and I, we joined this company 14 years ago, never having been in network marketing, not knowing what the heck we were doing. We just knew we had something special in our hands and we were going to figure it out. And it's this very call, it's this very system of principles and behaviors that actually allowed us to go from knowing nothing in the industry of network marketing to executives in this company. And I have to say, it's literally showing up to every single event. So this is a treat that you get to tune in virtually. And I think COVID and the pandemic actually put this into play very well. And it's that ability to plug in and to continue our learning, to fill our cup, twice a month. So, the first and third Tuesdays, same time, same bat channel, you will be able to log in and to this very number and hear from executives who have built successful businesses. And the focus of this call tonight is really around, it's called the Circles Call. And so we're going to hear from two executives tonight, maybe three, but two for sure. We're gonna talk about the system from a dear friend now with the most amazing heart, Candy Kreslak. You're going to hear from her. You're going to hear from Summer Smolik was sharing the slides, but I know Rob's on here too. So you're going to hear from one of the two Smoliks who are powerful leaders in this company and really have used this system to build. And what we're going to see here is really how this business works. How do you build leadership in depth? What skills, what principles and behaviors, what stories are there to tell? And each executive has a different story. They have a different journey, and it's powerful information. So one, get your notebooks out. Definitely take notes because if you're on this call, you're a leader, you're either building a team, you're acquiring new consultants. These are things that you're going to want to relay to your team that's growing. These are skills and principles. I wish I had a whole notebook on just the invite. I wish I had a whole notebook on just the circles, right? I go through my notebooks and I highlight. So I've got a lot of highlighted things. You could be a little more organized, but seriously, we go through the same principles and behaviors, and it's really fun to hear from each different person, their take on things, and really how to grow a successful business executive position in this company. So with that, I want to kick this off to Miss Candy Kreslak. She is somebody who I did not know when we started. Like this is kind of somebody who I lock arms with now. Her heart is bigger than the planet, right? If you know Candy, and she has built the most amazing team, amazing leadership. And I just adore her. Her background really has been in nursing. She has a story to tell. I'll let her do that. But I'm honored to pass it over to you, Miss Candy Kreslak. Take it away.
Oh, thank you, Sarah. She, thank you for starting this call and just for being a part of this, right? Thank you for saying yes to you so that we can help more people together. And welcome everybody on this call. I am so excited. This is, Sarah talked about this has been the most impactful call for me for the last 6.5 years of being a part. I just thought, oh my gosh, like this is that system that is put in place. It's like the blueprint teaching us the simple system of how to build this business. But I want to take you back and tell you a little bit about my story, and then we're going to go over the 5 principles and behaviors of how to build this business. So I'm from Montana. I'm a registered nurse. I have 4 kids, married to my high school sweetheart. And when LifeVantage found me 6.5 years ago, I was in a spot in my life where I really needed something to change. And if any of you are experiencing that or know anybody else that is, you guys, I know that there's people out there that are on their hands and knees praying for us to share this information with them because that's where I was at. And I didn't even know anything like this existed. I had never been in the industry of network marketing before, but I was working throughout my career as a registered nurse, most of my jobs, I was working a lot of hours. I was away from my family a lot. I was on call a lot. I worked in the operating room, the emergency room, the ICU. I was doing a lot of traveling, and I was exhausted. I would tell you that my kids were the most important people in my life, but when I'm working 70, 80, sometimes 90 hours a week, are they the most important people? Like, I needed something to change. And I was also struggling with some health conditions after a car accident. And my eyes were open to parts of the medical system that I wasn't agreeing with. The medical system can be great in some aspects, but there's always broken pieces to every, system when it comes to, I mean, I think it's more of a disease management system. And that's what I experienced when I became the patient. I felt like I was this big. I felt like I was unseen and I was unheard. I felt like they were just going to put another medication in my mouth. And I didn't want to be a part of something like that. I knew that I was meant for more. I knew that I was meant to impact people in a bigger way. And it wasn't by working in a system that was treating symptoms and putting band-aids on things and not hearing people and not allowing people to feel seen and heard and valued, right? To value people. And I'm not saying that that always happens, but that was my experience. And so I needed something in my life to change. I wanted everything in my life to change, but I didn't know what that looked like because you just don't know what you don't know. And when you're surviving, have any of you ever been surviving before in your life? When you're surviving and you're in that hamster wheel and those blinders are up, you can't see past that. You can't see the light at the end of the tunnel. And so I didn't know what I didn't know. I didn't know what I needed. But my friend had enough courage to invite me to a living room to come hear about the story of LifeVantage. And Miss Summer Smolik showed up. Do you guys know Summer Smolik? She drove through a snowstorm. She didn't want to come, and we're going to talk about that. She didn't want to show up that day because she had a 1-year-old in a car seat driving over a mountain path through a snowstorm to share this information. And I was in that living room that day, and I watched an ABC News primetime investigative report. Have you all seen that? Like, have you seen the ABC News Primetime Investigative Report? Because I promise you that 6.5 years ago, sitting on that couch, when I saw that ABC News report, I had this huge vision. I thought, oh my gosh, like, why didn't I know about this? If this is true, we're going to help the world. Every single person deserves to know this information. And there's a business opportunity attached to this. You're telling me that nobody knows about this, but everybody needs to know about it. And I have the opportunity to be first to create a huge impact in people's lives by saying yes. You guys, I was all in. I saw the vision right away. I saw the possibility. I saw where we could go and how many people we could help by sharing this information. I took a leap of faith, and this has been the most rewarding journey that I've ever been a part of. And a huge piece of that has been this building depth system and this building depth community because these leaders I mean, they're my superheroes. Superheroes. Are they your superheroes too? Because they were my superheroes. And I was like, oh my gosh, like I joke about this, but this is so true. Like I would even watch the way they walk and the way they eat because I was like, they got to be doing something different. Like, what are they doing? Like, what do I need to know to get to where they're at? Like, how can I be an executive in LifeVantage? Like, I wanted to know everything about them. And what I found out was it was in front of me the entire time. It was this system that was created by Marcel Niederhauser and Blue Elam of these 5 principles and behaviors that if we follow them, you guys, they all work together. You can't leave one of them out. They all work together. But I thought it can't be that simple. There's no way. There's no way that if I follow these 5 simple things and I don't overcomplicate it, that this is going to work. They told me it would take me 2 to 5 years, and it was 5 years for me exactly to the day, to not to the day, to the month of when I became involved in LifeVantage that I hit the executive ranks. And I followed those 5 principles and behaviors every single month. right? And so what are they? I mean, it is the blueprint. It is the roadmap to success for you to build this business. And the first one is show this information 15 or more times a month. So that's number one. You guys, and that is you we have to get this in front of people. Your business is not going to grow if we're not sharing this information with people. So showing this information, I would recommend or more, but if you're brand new on the call, you may have to work up to the 15. Maybe you're not going to be able to do 15 at once. I did 20 to 30 meetings in my first 10 days because I knew I saw a vision and I wanted a different life so bad, but everybody is different, right? Commit to the number that you want to do and work up to the 15 or more presentations a month. But I will tell you, stay consistent with that because that's the number one thing. If you don't stay consistent, if you do 20 meetings this month and then you don't do another meeting for 3 months, and then you do 20 meetings and then you don't do another meeting for 6 months, your business isn't going to grow. We got to stay consistent. Do work this business an hour a day, every day. And when you're doing the 15 or more, please share the whole story, your story, the company's story, and how to get paid. Because 6.5 years ago, when Summer Smolik shared this information with me, if she would have just shared a product that was going to help my chronic illness, I wouldn't have the honor of being on this call with all of you tonight. I wouldn't have said yes to this because I had already written off my health. I had already tried everything for my health, and that's not what I was looking for. Please don't make decisions for people. The next one is attend all events. You guys, as leaders, get pre-registered for those events. And every time you're having a conversation with anyone on your team, any consultant, any customer, or anybody that's brand new that hasn't even said yes yet, you're sharing the information. Make sure that you're promoting to the next event. You're telling them you're excited. Be excited about it, you guys, because when you attend events, is that where belief is built? Is that where decisions are made? Is that where the light bulb moments happen? Because sometimes we need to hear it from somebody else. And then you go to a building depth event and you have all of these different leaders with all of these different personalities and all of these nuggets to share. And you're going to relate. Every single person in that room is going to relate to one of those leaders that's up there on stage. And that light bulb moment is going to happen. And they're going to go home and they're going to make a decision to start building this for their future and to help other people. The third one is always do what you say you're going to do. Be a person of your word. You guys, all of these can actually be in your life as well. This was one of the hardest ones for me in the beginning to realize how many people are not people of their word, especially once COVID hit. I saw a lot of people become recluse. I saw a lot of people just hide in their homes and not want to come out. And they would tell people that they would be there or show up, and then they wouldn't show up, right? There's a lot of anxiety and a lot of fear and a lot of depression that came from that. And you guys, when I worked as a registered nurse, we had to show up. So I was working with people that were accountable. I was working with people that when they said they were going to do something, they did it because we had a patient in front of us that we were taking care of. But when I got in the industry of network marketing, that wasn't the case. It just wasn't. And it made my heart sad because I thought, how can people tell you that they're going to do something and then they don't show up? You guys, please be a person of your word, and not only for other people, but be a person of your word for yourself. And I have to remind myself that every single day because I struggle with that sometimes. I tell myself I'm going to do something, but by the end of the day, when I've poured out everything and given everything and poured out my heart to other people, sometimes I don't keep those commitments to myself. And that is part of being a person of your word as well. Always stay in control of your business. You guys, stay in control of your business. Grab a hold of those new people. Make sure that you're grabbing a hold of them, you're locking arms with them, and you're walking them through the process. They're brand new and they don't know the next steps. Make sure that you're staying in control of your emotions and yourself. A big part of staying in control of your business is staying in control of yourself. And as leaders, we need to learn how to do that anyway, right? And taking accountability for things that are happening, even though maybe it's not your fault. It's okay to take that accountability and move forward as a leader. But staying in control of your business can mean so many different things. It's grabbing a hold of your team, it's working at the bottom of the leg so that you're grabbing a hold of those new people and you're walking them through the process and you're helping them invite and you're helping them do their meetings. You guys, because we don't do this alone. every single thing that we do, we're doing together. Even when you're ready, you get really good at doing your invites because you're going to be bad before you're good and good before you're great. But you get really good at doing your invites, and now you're learning how to do your presentation. And then you get really good at doing your presentation. Then you need to still get somebody on for a third party validation. We need to get people to the events for a third party validation, get people on these Zoom calls. Is there people tonight in your teams that you wish you're like, oh my gosh, I wish they were here right now? I wish that's exactly what they needed to hear. Because I do that to myself every time. I'm like, oh my gosh, like as Rob, because Rob or Summer are going to be talking next, and I know they're going to say something that I'm like, oh my gosh, I wish this person was on because that's exactly what they were talking to me about today. And they needed to hear that. So, you guys get your teams on these calls. It will change everything for them. And the last one is the art of promotion. Oh my gosh, when I finally realized how important promotion is, you guys, if you start getting good at promoting, and when I'm saying promoting, you're promoting the system that we just went through. You're promoting the events, you're promoting the Zoom calls, you're promoting your team, you're promoting your upline, you're actively building upline. All of these pieces, if you get really, really good at the art of promotion, that will build your business for you. Like you will have so much weight taken off your shoulders when you just promote the system because the system will build your business. When I realized that, I was like, oh my gosh, that's the light bulb moment I needed. But you guys, this is this system. And I know that sometimes is there any of you on this call that are thinking it can't be that simple? There's got to be other things. Like, why isn't she telling me the nuggets? Where's the golden nugget? What's the piece that I'm missing? But I promise you, do you guys all have the building depth workbook? Because in the building depth workbook has the system to help you keep yourself accountable. And there's a spot on there that your upline signs that you're actively building upline, and you sign that with a date that you're going to commit, however long it takes. You guys, everybody's journey is different. So, however long it takes you, maybe it's going to take you 2 years to hit the executive ranks, or maybe it's going to take you 15 years. I can't tell you how long it's going to take you, but I know that you won't fail if you don't give up and you continue to follow the system. So I love and appreciate all of you. I just wanted to thank all of you for being on this call tonight. And now I have the honor of introducing two incredible mentors of mine. And I know that, and I don't know who's doing the circles tonight, so I'm going to introduce both of them. But they're kind of like, I mean, they're inseparable anyway, right? They're kind of like one person. Rob and Summer Smolik have been by my side through this journey, you guys. And w as a leader, when I signed up, I knew who I needed to go to. And they're not my direct enrollers. They're not right above me. But I knew if I wanted to build this, I needed to find the person that had what I wanted and grab a hold of them and let them mentor me and teach me. And I needed to copy and duplicate exactly what they did to get to where I was at. They were with me every step of the way. I was scared to death, but they grabbed a hold of me and they did this with me. And I was bad before I was good, and I was good before I was great. And I'm so appreciative of them being there for me because they saw something in me that I didn't see in myself. They believed in me until I believed in myself, and they poured into me and poured into me and helped me get out of my comfort zone so that I could grow and become a better version of myself. And so I want to hand this over to Mr. Rob and Miss Summer Smolik.
Andy, thank you, my dear. Holy smokes, that was awesome. That was really, really good. She makes this so easy for a lot of us, you guys. I think y'all would hope that somebody like Candy would come into your business, right? It's like there's no babysitting there. We don't have to call her all. And like she is literally taking control of her business. And man, it took us over 3 years to find her. And I'm going to get into our circles a little bit about my background. Summer is with our daughter. I think they're watching a movie. It's been a long, long day. She did a bunch of meetings today, and my daughter's like, "Hey, Mom, I want mom time." So they're watching a movie. So I'm going to do the circles tonight. I came from a medical background, you guys. I know a lot of people don't know that, but I did come from a medical background. I had 3 college degrees. I grew up in a very small town in Montana. There's days I didn't eat growing up. I was raised by a single mother with a little brother. And my mom met my dad, who adopted me and my brother. I was about 10 years old. They got married. And at least I ate every day. My dad had a decent job. He worked on a smelter as a machinist. And so we were able to eat. But there was days I didn't eat. And up until I was about 10, me and my brother grew up in a one-room apartment, second story. Uh, the other room was the bathroom. There was a little tiny shower and a toilet. The rest of it was the kitchen, everything. My mom slept on the couch, and me and my brother slept on a double bed till we were about 10 years old. That's how I grew up. A little mining community. I promised myself I was going to figure out how to make money so I could give my family a life that I never had. I felt like I got so good at it, I kind of destroyed my family. About 14 years ago, my oldest son, DJ, died in my arms. He was sitting next to me, put his head on my shoulder. I thought he fell asleep. He had passed. I was divorced after 19 years of marriage that same year, and I was paralyzed from the waist down for about 4 months. I got a bunch of rods holding my spine together. That all happened to me 14 years ago. I had many companies, I had hundreds of employees, I had a TV show, and I was dying inside. I had a doctor approach me with this opportunity. He talked about science for about maybe 30, 45 minutes. And I honestly didn't hear a word he said. Even though I came from a medical background, I didn't care. But he did say leveraged income. That's what I really liked. I had a lot of real estate. I had companies. I had 11 companies at the time and 400 and some employees. But I love the leverage income because that's the only way that I felt like I was going to be free is if I could accumulate enough of that where I separated myself from the creation of my income or literally make money while I sleep, because that's freedom when you make that money, that's enough. When that's enough money coming in month after month after month, where all your bills are paid, you can take about another 20% of the leftover and reinvest it into other things that are going to give you returns on your investment. And then the rest of the money just to go have fun and live your life. Now, when that number is big enough, you're retired, you're free. That's different for every one of you on this call. I knew what that number was up here for me. And so when I got involved in this, I didn't run with it. Like, guys, I didn't need the money, but I understood the concept. My original goal when I got involved in this, I'll get it to where I'm making about $2,000 a month. I'll put in an account for my two other sons that were college athletes going to college at the time, and they could use it when they needed it and blah, 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 and finish college and not have any debt, which they did do. But that was my goal. I was doing that fairly quickly. I met Summer. She became my business partner. We were dating when she joined this business, and then we got engaged and we got married. Now, you all know, or for the ones that are new on here, we do have a little girl. She's 8 years old. 22 months into this journey together, Summer retired at the age of 39. It was just before her 40th birthday. I sold 10 of my 11 companies in about a 4 to 5 to 6 month span. I've just recently sold my last company. So I've had 30 companies in about 25 years and I've sold them all. This is all me and Summer do. Now, a lot of my investments are real estate and stuff. Like I'm in my lodge in Kentucky right now. So I reinvest to have more returns on my income coming in every month. And this business has afforded me that opportunity. It's afforded me the way to do that. If you want to go make extra money, most people would have to go get another job. I know my wife had 2 or 3 jobs when she was growing up, just to feed herself and buy clothes for herself. And I think a lot of you are very similar. If you want to make an income, you got to do something more. The worst thing that a person can do in business or in life is cut back or budget. You should literally always be trying to figure out how to increase your income, not decrease it or cut back. Like never, ever, ever do that in business. You always figure out how to increase your income. And so with this, I thought, well, just see where it goes. And so me and Summer started running together in, 22 months. We were pretty much free. Now, Marcel's one that shared this information with us as far as how to build it. And he told us when we met him we were in this business about a year before we met Marcel. And he told us, he goes, if you guys do what I teach, like Candy said earlier, you'll probably be free in around 2 to 5 years. And I said, I'll give you 4. I'll give you 4 years, but I'll 10x everything you tell me to do because that beautiful little blonde wants to have a baby and I'm 51 years old. I don't have time to play games with this. I got to get this thing done. And so those principles, behaviors that Candy just taught you, those 15 or more, we did them. And I guarantee you, most of you on this call don't ever come close to even doing 15 or more a month. And you think you're going to be an executive in this company. Unless you get very, very lucky, the chances of you getting to executive by not even doing 15 or more, it's just hard to create enough momentum. to do that. And that 15 or more, guys, is, man, if I jump on it, I don't do any meetings for Candy anymore. We haven't done a meeting for Candy for like 6 years, but I did do a validation for her today. We still validate. If you're not validating, all validating does is show that person another person that's there to help them. And maybe that person that you got on to validate might relate to them a little bit more. Man, if you have all these arrows in your quiver, use them all. Don't use a limited amount. Put the odds in your face. Statistically, guys, this industry is pretty predictable statistically. And so I've just made the numbers work. The entire time I've been doing this, I've just made the numbers work. And I can't tell you it's simple or easy, but it's kind of, if you're just doing those 15 or more, because you're right people in your funnel. And so I was going to have Summer, if she's on, because I don't know how to do that, split my screen, and I'll kind of go through a little bit of kind of how we built our business. And see, there she did. Look at that, guys. She just popped it on there. See, I don't even know how to do that. See, you don't have to be a rocket scientist to do this. I'm as dumb as a box of rocks when it comes to technology. But this isn't really hugely up to date, but it's pretty close. And you can see our top position, Robin Summer, executives. I got Summer involved. She says 4 weeks. It was a little longer than that, because when I met her, I didn't share this with her right away, you guys. I saw 5 network marketing products on our kitchen counter the first time I went to her house from 5 different companies. And so I didn't want to take her from somebody. I'm not like that. I didn't want to take her from somebody. I was courting her. I wanted to be with her, building a LifeVantage business really went on the back burner there for about the first couple of months when I met her, and I was still doing my 15 or more. And I didn't even know what that was back then, because I had not met Marcel yet, but I knew numbers would build this. And so she got involved, and we started to build this together. And if you look at it, 6 months into it, my brother Ed, who's my half brother in Townsend, Montana, reached out, and he's like, "Hey, bro, I think I could do that networking thing you do. I can't do what you do in regular business. There's no way I could do that." He was a butcher, right? Cut meat in the supermarket. He goes, "I can't do what you do, but that networking thing, I think I could do that if you'll help me." So me and Summer drove. We were living outside of Missoula, Montana, in the mountains at the time, in a beautiful place. And we drove, a couple hours to go meet with him and his fiance at the time, and shared this with them, and they got involved. A couple months after that, I get a call from my brother saying, "Hey, there's this gentleman I just shared this with. I wanted to introduce him to you. Here's his number, blah, blah, blah." And so I had a conversation with Jim. Jim had those great big heating units that you would see in construction sites. He had a few of those things, basically construction stuff. And Jim got excited. When I shared this to him, Julie was in the kitchen, and she would kind of stick her head out and poke her head back in, and she was not happy that Jim was getting involved. Julie was not happy. But I'll tell you what, Julie's been one of the longest people that we've had in this business. She's still there, and love her to death. And it's just amazing, because she wanted nothing to do with this, guys. But she showed up at 1 or 2 meetings, and she saw the science, and she got really excited about the product and stuff like that. Well, her daughter has really only did 1 meeting ever, and she showed up to a few things. I know Stormy went through some cancer and stuff like that, so she definitely had backed off completely for like a year or more. And she went to an event, and she got excited, and she said, "I want to do a meeting." And so Candy was one of the people at that meeting. And so Summer drove over literally 2 mountain passes in a snowstorm. I was going the other direction. Summer went that way with our baby girl, and that's when we found one of the most powerful people in this industry, Candy. And that was almost 4 years into that, you guys, when we found her. It was a little less than that, but I'm just showing you the numbers here, that it doesn't happen overnight, right? This does not happen overnight, but if you stay consistent and you keep putting that action forward, because if you're not inviting, your business will not go anywhere. You could jump on every one of these calls, you can go all the conventions, you can read 1,000 books, you can do motivational podcasts, but if you're not opening your mouth and inviting people, your business ain't going to grow, right? A lot of people think they just post something on social media and 10,000 people are going to reach out to them and say, "I want to join your business." That don't happen. That's like 1 in a million that stuff like that happens. And a lot of people that do that are just so afraid to invite. They're hoping, they're begging that people come to them. You guys, it just doesn't happen, right? You got to go to the people. You got to go to the source. And so Candy, guys, started inviting like crazy. did in 2 weeks, we did, yeah, there was 20 some meetings that were done and a huge chunk of people signed up. And there you can see a lot of them on here, guys. Heather, you got Francis, you got Barb, you got Brenda, you got Keith Kelly, you got Keith and Kelsey, you got Robin, you got Angie, you got Robin again, you got Kevin, you got Darlene, you got Matt, you got Cami, you got Tammy, Bart. Like, guys, there's a whole slew of people on there. Alyssa, Lisa, Mosh. Like, there's people, and there's more people that sign up every week. But that's become a force, right? You guys see a lot of these guys on these calls. And so that one leg, there's 3 executives going down there, runs huge volume, and they're still continuing to grow, right? They're still continuing to show up. Like almost all those people that I've mentioned have come to trainings and conventions, and that's why that business is pretty dang solid. The very first person I ever signed up is Dave S. Day one, you see, if you look on there, day one, I signed up 2 people. I walked out of the sports bar that night. I got in my car and I called 2 people. I called Dave and I called Brad. Dave, I called and said, "Give me your credit card. I don't have time to tell you about it now, but I want to teach you how to make money. I'll show you tonight." Okay. And he gave me his credit card. I signed him up. Brad, I called. I said the exact same thing. "Brad, I don't have time to tell you about it now. Give me your credit card. I'm going to sign you up. I'm going to make you my business partner. I'm going to teach you how to make money. I'll call you tonight." Okay. Those guys both gave me their credit card. I signed them up in the business. I called them later on that night and told them, "Guess what? You're in network marketing. Let's go to work." Dave and Brad are like brothers to me. Dave and Brad have not been active, really active in the business for many, many years, but they led me to people, right? Dave led me to a bunch. Dave led me to a couple sisters that won MC1, like in maybe 45 days, both of them. Dave went down. I met a gal, Heather, who introduced me to a gal named Di, who was a real estate agent. Di's like my sister. Di no-showed me like 4 times. She lives in Helena. She no-showed me literally 4 times. And I was there one day. Me and my wife were staying at the Hampton Inn. We were doing meetings, and I get a call from this Heather gal that was up in Havre, and Di's in Helena. That's a little bit of a jaunt. That's a drive. And she says, "Di's ready to see you now." And I go, "Where's she at?" And she goes, "Well, she's at Applebee's." And I go, "She working?" "Yeah." "Well, I'm not going to go in and share this with her while she's working. If you came into any of my companies to share something to my employees and they quit working and they started listening, I'd have fired them right there on the spot, and I would have kicked your butt out of my business." And so I didn't want to do that. She goes, "She's on her lunch break. She's got about 20 minutes. I ran over there. I sat down with Di. 15 minutes into it, she signed up. Then Di led me to, oh my God, like there, Lee's a SC1, Di's a MC2, Matt Hoffman had got out of prison for the 3rd time. He had been out a month. I shared this with Matt. Boy, I wasn't mean to him. I was strict with him for a couple of years. I said, you need to call me or my wife every day. I need to get that I got to brainwash you to be successful, because if you don't grab onto us, you'll be dead or back in prison any year. The chances of him being dead or back in prison were so astronomical. The state took his son away. His son Isaac and my daughter are almost best friends. They're a year apart. When I worked for the feds, Matt used to introduce me when we'd do calls. He goes, "Yeah, my brother Rob, he used to be a Fed, FBI, and I'm the next convict, but now we're brothers." And it was kind of funny for a while, but I said, "Man, that's not you anymore, dude. Let's not say that." But for a couple of months he did. He's got a gift with people, MC2. Di introduced us also, and Matt, like, to Patricia, MC1. Patricia was living in her car the day we met her, right? Patricia's met and introduced us to some amazing people. We've got Lori Weeding, who was did some book work and stuff up in Billings area. MC1, MC1 very quickly. Cleto, SC3. I mean, there's so many amazing people. Dave, SC2. Tasha, SC1. Tasha went SC1 very quickly. Sierra, there's so many people, you guys, that are out there building this. And some of them weren't very active. Like I'm telling you, Dave and Brad have not been that active. Now, Brad, MC1, pretty quickly, he introduced me to a guy that used to play professional baseball for the Kansas City Royals or whatever. He was in a part of the College World Series baseball team one time. That's his claim to fame. Got hurt, busted up, no longer in pro sports. Years ago, when you would go Pro 3, which would be almost like SC2 or SC3 between there, the company wrote you a $500 check. And man, it was a great big check. And they handed it to you on stage at a convention. Dave grabbed that check and he ran up in front of everybody. And there's a ton of people on stage that had that $500 check. And he held that thing up, a big old smile on his face. I remember seeing him afterwards. He's like, dude, I was more excited about that $500 check when I signed my pro contract in baseball. Can you believe? I mean, that guy was so excited about that. He just saw maybe a future. I came to a meeting one day. There was a retired executive from GE in there. There was a retired jewelry store owner. There was some car lot owners, car dealership owners at a meeting I did in Ohio. And there was a gentleman sitting in the front row with his dad. His name was Keith. Keith was a contractor, very successful contractor in that Ohio area. I started sharing this with Keith, and I said to him that really caught his ear. He joined. His dad was there with him, Glenn. Glenn's like, you're not going to do this, Keith. Keith's like, Dad, when's the last time you had somebody super successful reach down and say, hey, let me help you in this thing called life? Somebody that was really successful. And well, I don't know. Glenn, we kind of laugh about it because Glenn wanted to give Keith financial advice. And Keith's like, Dad, you're no place to give me financial advice. We kind of laugh about it today. Guys, Glenn was the head of the Jewelers Association or something like that in Ohio for many, many, many years. Glenn introduced us to other people. We had Johnny that got involved in SC2, and there's other people, guys. There's so many people in all these legs. There's hundreds and hundreds, probably thousands in Candy's in that leg under Summer, because there's other people in there that go down. Dave and Brenda. Dave used to buy product from me and from my clothing company, my outdoor companies. I had 3 outdoor companies. He had a sporting goods store and an outdoor online site. He was a dietitian for the state of Montana. Guy who drove over a mountain pass almost every day to work. Can you imagine for 30, 40 years driving over a mountain pass? And those roads were not good going over that mountain pass sometimes. He did that for 30 to 40 years. Did an online store, sporting goods store. He started buying products from us. It took Dave 6 months. I shared this with him. He did not sign up until 6 months later. I kept following up, kept plugging him into calls. I just said, Dave, I guess right now is the right time for you, but do you mind if I keep plugging you into calls? Because there's things that change with this company all the time. And, things get better. There's things that change. Sometimes they throw more money at us. They do incentive. They got free trips. Do you mind if I plug you in once in a while? I'm not going to send you a call every day or every week, but once in a while I'll send you a call and you're welcome to jump on if you'd like. He jumped on a call one time 6 months later, and right after that call was a building depth call. He called me right after. He goes, Rob, sign me up. He goes, why didn't you force me to do this 6 months ago? And Dave's personality is pretty similar to mine. And I thought, man, if I would have came at Dave like that, I probably would have ruined a friendship. Because I was not a good person back then. I was still pretty angry and bitter because of a lot of things that had happened in my life. Dave met a little gal named Cindy, had huge, huge stuff from the product. I mean, she was really debilitated, couldn't play with her grandkids, get around. She had a little farm, different things like that. And her sister saw what the products were doing for her sister. And Summer got on and did a meeting with Marion. Marion got involved. Marion was selling goats or sheep or something like that. I always screw that up. Jed and Heather were buying a goat or a sheep from Marion. That's how they met. MC1s. Jed and Ben. But below Jed, now there's more people and all that, guys, but Ben and Jed came to a meeting I did in Missoula, Montana, and they stood in the back of the room. And there wasn't any chairs left. It was in a fire hall. And they stood back by the door. There was about an 85-year-old guy that Cindy invited that come to that meeting. And he pulled up next to me and my wife. And he got out and started walking towards the fire hall. And I thought, man, maybe that guy's come to a meeting. But I thought maybe his grandson was a fireman. So I followed him and go, sir, you looking for somebody? He goes, yeah, I'm supposed to meet this couple. I don't know what about, but I'm blah, blah, blah. And I go, that might be us. So he came in and he sat in the front row. The guy freaking signed up on a business pack when we were done. We didn't even get through it. He's like, yeah, sign me up. So Summer walked outside with him and signed him up. Well, Jed and Ben were in that room. Ben had some history in network marketing before, I think Amway or whatever. But they both signed up and they both have won VIPs. Guys, there's many VIPers on here. There's a ton of Growth Summit and Pro 5 Summit qualifiers that I've already covered in this. Ben introduced us and Dave and those guys introduced it. You got Mary, Janet and John. You got Dorothy. Dorothy lives kind of close to us out here in Kentucky at our lodge. Gary and Becky, there's so many more people in these, you guys. I mean, you can see the timeline it takes to find some of these people. That's what I love about this. It's a journey. Like if you just found people and they built it to the top, honestly, I love the passion behind going out and helping people. I don't know if it would be as fun as every time you got somebody in, they just went to the top. I mean, helps us personally grow. It helps us learn how to deal with a little of different adversity in life. There's challenges that always pop up with people, right? Not and everything doesn't ever go smoothly, and so I mean, that's a little bit of the storytelling that we tell. Cole, this is really funny. Cole, literally, 17-year-old kid came to my house to buy some camouflage because it was on a Sunday and all the stores were closed. I were carrying my clothing in their stores. And he was buying some camouflage from me, and I had a lot of the SKUs in my garage, and he was trying them on. And he dropped a credit card for about $800-900 worth of camouflage right there. As I was talking to him, he wanted a tour of our house because he would drive by our house to go up to a hunting area that was a walk-in area, and it was a massive log home, and he really loved it. And so Summer was giving him a tour, but while I was talking to him, he heard Summer doing a call, doing a presentation with somebody as she was walking by, and Cole was rubbernecking. He was listening. And when Summer got done, he goes, "What else do you guys do?" He goes, "I know you got this. I know you guys are successful, but what else do you do?" And he was just inquiring mostly what Summer was talking about on the phone. And I says, "Well, what are you doing tomorrow?" He goes, "Nothing." I go, "Why don't you be at my house by about 7:38? I'm going to bring you into Missoula and I'm going to introduce you to a gal that's about 28 years old, probably makes 10, 15, 20 grand a month in an opportunity that I could share with you and a little bit about what Summer was talking to on the phone. Maybe you could relate to her better than us. We're old." And he started laughing. Guys, he showed up a half hour early. There's adults that I would say that to, and they show up 20 minutes. I don't wait for anybody. If I say I'll meet you there at 11 and you're there at 11:15, I'm already gone. I mean, I'm already gone. And so Cole showed up a half hour early. He came into town. This little gal shared this opportunity with him. He goes, "I'm in. I want to sign up." I go, "Wait a minute. How old are you?" He goes, "I'm 17. Well, I can't sign you up till you're 18. He goes, "I turn 18 in 5 days, Rob." I go, "Show me your driver's license." He pulled it out. I'll be damned. 5 days later, he turned 18. He was literally on our doorstep at 8 in the morning, the day of his birthday, and signed up. Uh, the next day, guys, was building depth in St. George, Utah. So I told him, I said, "Why don't you grab a friend, brother, sister, cousin, uncle, whatever, grab them, throw them in our leisure van. It's pretty much paid for, hotel rooms or whatever. Have them come down with us. It's like a little vacation and they could see what you're doing too." So he got a hold of his cousin, Jeremy, and they jumped in our van the next day and we drove down to St. George, Utah. By the time we got to Salt Lake out of Montana, Jeremy signed up. Summer went in the back of the van and shared this with him, and Jeremy signed up. Cole had no idea what he's really involved in, and he was already making money before we even got to building depth. Jeremy introduced us to another gentleman named Freddie. Freddie had a meeting at his house. This young man shows up about a half hour late. His name was Brigham. Brigham was about a half hour late. Now, everybody in that house had signed up in the business. Brigham showed up late. And when we got done, Brigham said, "Hey, do you mind if I come up to your guys' house and just have a private conversation?" For the most part. Well, Brigham shows up. He gets involved. He introduces us to his brother, Zach. Zach married Brooke. You see, they're MC1s. Brigham's MC2. Um, Brigham calls me and said, "Hey, my mom and my sister,
Sorry.
my mom
I'm
and my
sorry.
sister are going to be at
You're muted, Rob.
So we go to meet. Brigham sets up a meeting with his sister, Carly, and his mom, Stephanie, at a restaurant in Hamilton, Montana. We go on, we're sitting down with Carly, and we're sharing this with Carly, and I'm thinking, God, I know her. I recognize the last name because the Jessup family, you guys, where we grew up in Montana, they're incredible athletes. They dominate athletic wise, man. It's just, and there's tons of them, super great athletes. Well, Carly was on the University of Montana track team with my son Bobby. And when I met Carly, I thought, God, she looks familiar. She sounds familiar. And then I thought, oh my God, I've seen selfies with her and my son on like a sports bus going somewhere. They were friends. And so we started sharing this with Carly and her mom, Stephanie. Well, Stephanie looks at her daughter and says, "Listen, you need to get in business with these guys because me and your dad, we can't teach you really how to be successful. Right? These guys can." And so Carly joined our business. She married a doctor of physical therapy, Keegan, MC1s. Carly gives me a call one afternoon, God, maybe a year ago, if that, I don't know, it wasn't that long ago, and says, "Rob, I got a guy I need you to talk to. He's a financial planner. He lives in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho." We get on a Zoom call, and Carly introduces us, and within 10 minutes, Carly got off the call. Me and Michael, we became brothers. We became brothers, and love him like a brother. We did so many meetings with Michael. Me and my wife had gone there 2 or 3 times a piece to Coeur d'Alene to do meetings. And we were following the system. Boom, 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 boom. He grew every month. Grew every month. He won the Alaskan cruise. He's introduced us to some amazing people. It's just weird. Lori on the 5 month deal there, guys. Lori on that SC3, my wife met her on a plane trip to Montana. 70-year-old gal that was widowed, lives in Las Vegas. She has a place in Montana just like us. And they sat next to each other on the plane and became like mother and daughter. They sat next to each other on the way back home to Vegas. That was meant to be. Lori got involved. She's won VIP. She rank advanced to SC3. She's won trips. Sheila and Dean. Sheila was my daughter's gymnastics coach in Vegas. They got involved. I asked Dean and Sheila, I go, Dean, what do you want out of this? He goes, Rob, I'm tired of building somebody else's dream. He ran a pretty good sized construction company or a trucking company in Vegas. He'd been there forever. He was an employee. He wasn't the owner. He said, I'm tired of building somebody else's business. It's time I start building my own. Danielle was an Uber driver for us in Vegas. Danielle should be way bigger than what she is. She's had life really kick her in the butt a lot in the last 6, 7 months. Paul is the only person I knew prior to getting involved in this business besides Dave and Brenda. That's it. All these people I talked about, I never knew any of them. Paul graduated. We went to high school together. I knew it looked like he had lost his job or he's looking for a job or whatever. I sat by him on a plane one time. We recognized each other, didn't talk much. Anyway, I shared this with Paul. He went to SC1 like in a week, 2 weeks. It was pretty quick. Then got hurt bad. His wife got hurt. They both had surgeries in the last couple of months, both of them. Like just out of the blue, both surgeries. Connie ended up, she was in the business for quite a while. Got pretty much booted out of the system, and she signed herself up underneath us. She literally signed up, said, you got a new consultant. And I went on and looked, and I was like, wow. I thought she was in this business years ago. Well, she was, but she had literally dropped off the map, and she wanted to sign back up, and she literally signed herself up. We didn't sign her up. She signed herself up underneath us. April used to come to our house in Missoula. Her and her husband and their daughters would come and hang out. They're avid hunters. And I knew when we were open in the Philippines, April's Filipino. And I told my wife that morning, I go, we're going to get business in the Philippines. I'm going to get somebody that's going to lead us to the Philippines in the next 2 days. And I reached out to Kevin, April's husband, and I said, Kevin, what's your wife's number? I need to share something with her. We're opening a company in the Philippines, and I think this could be very lucrative, you guys, if you would be willing enough to be open-minded enough to let me share some information with me. They know that I was successful, and the hell they jumped on. April became our business partner, SC1. So there's the only one out of that entire diagram that's below an SC1 is Danielle, which she should be way bigger than that guy. But like I said, I'm telling you, everything that could hit this little gal has hit her in life. But besides that, man, you could see the years, 7 years, 8 years, 4 years, 3 years. It literally took us over about 3.5 years to find Candy. Don't give up. People are out there looking every day, guys. You can't tell me you don't know anybody that doesn't want to make more money, or somebody doesn't want to feel better, or slow their aging process down a little bit, or have time freedom to be spending with their family. Do you know, me and my daughter have never really ever been apart. I can't say that about my 3 sons. I hardly knew my 3 sons. I was never home. That little girl, she's become an incredible little fisher lady here at our lodge. We've had so much time. We're so blessed. I just don't, to know people that we know. You guys are family. Like, I met some pretty amazing people. I was out doing a training in Philly this weekend, and I met some awesome freaking people. I see some of them on the front page. I see Deb. I see Eric. It was just really cool to meet some new friends. I did a call with Pamela last night that lives out somewhere out in that Philly area or whatever. It's really cool. It's really neat to see the people that, I never even knew. And you know what? If me and Summer played just a tiny, tiny part in maybe helping you change your life just a little bit, all this was worth it to us. All of it was worth it to us. All the heartache, all the emotion, all the frustration, it was totally worth it. It was totally worth it. Guys, grab onto the people that got you on this call. Promote like crazy. If you don't attend these calls and you don't attend conventions and you're not plugging into a system, you're going to struggle with this. Like I said, social media, you can get some customers, but man, if you want to build a big business, you got to be validating, you got to be showing up, and you got to be doing a lot of presentations if you want to build a big business, or it just won't happen for you. So I'm going to turn this back over to Sarah. Hopefully that helped. A lot of people think you just get in and you go to the top right away. You guys heard Candy, 5 days or 5 years from the day that she signed up, she was an executive, and she wrote me on a little ribbon, a little gold ribbon, a few years ago. On the back of it, she wrote the date down that when she'd be an executive. She had a couple little goals on that gold ribbon. And that's a suit jacket that I would wear all the time. And every time we'd go to a convention or something, I'd pull it out and I'd show her. In about a year from the date that she wrote that on that ribbon, she was an executive in this company. You write your dreams and goals down, you guys, because if you don't, you're slinging mud against the wall. Love you all. Thanks. Sarah, go ahead, dear.
Yeah, thank you. You guys drop some love in the chat. That was amazing. And what's really amazing too, it's like, just recapping kind of what Rob and how Rob shared his stories. Is it really, it's the consistency. It's weaving this business into your relationships on a daily basis. It's really like asking people for referrals. Like it might not be the person sitting in front of you. It could be somebody they know. But, our job with this company is to be the voice, is to actually create the very first train tracks for distribution around the world, right? And they're not built yet. So we're in a really unique time. And knowing, like, I don't know about you, but like the way Rob shared his stories made me feel like I could just go out and live my life, keep my frequency high, do the things I love, like introduce this business to everyone that is landing, kind of in your path, because this is a God thing. Whatever your beliefs are, it's unfolding all the time, and people are put in front of you every day that are praying for this information. They're praying to be part of a community just like this. They're like praying to have, that connection and that income stream that is needed right now. And how amazing is this? Because we just get to pour our hearts into people and we get paid, right? Weaving this into life, like not knowing anyone. Like Rob only enrolled a few people personally that he knew in the past. Everybody else was kind of people he was meeting along the way. Because here's the thing, you guys, none of my original like group that when I started this business, none of them enrolled. I don't have any friends from any part of my life. It was all when I said yes to this, the up leveling began. And it was running into the people that wanted that were not just comfortable sitting at home and okay with status quo. These were people that were like, they wanted to change their life. They wanted to become better. They wanted to be able to serve more people. And that is something that when you say yes to this business, that's what happens. Like you're just put in front of people that are going to change your life. And it is the power of one. Doing all those trips over the snowy passes with a little baby, with little Gabs in the front seat to meet Candy. It's the power of one that can fully change your business, fully change your life. So I took lots of notes. Thank you, thank you, thank you for bringing your hearts, Candy and Rob. It was absolutely amazing. And last thing, get registered. Be the leader because you cannot promote to your teams unless you're registered. So I know this past LVA weekend, if you were at an LVA and you are not registered, get on and register because your registering is actually like attracting the people who are going to register just like you. So leaders register before the event, well before the event. So with that, I appreciate you all. Have a fantastic rest of your night. And we'll see you soon. Take care, guys. Thanks again.